the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, is now a man who is taking his fate in his own hands. After his open rebuke of Justice Bintanyako last week, he, on the 14th of February, penned an open letter to the public, lamenting the executive interference and judicial indifference or collusion with the executive. Is it now a question of, thus far, no further for Nnamdi Kanu's trial? This is the Eastern Eye. I'm Alex Obodo.
So guys, this lawyer has come out to speak about Nnamdi Kanu's open letter and its implications. So we know that recently Nnamdi Kanu wrote an open letter, talking about his ordeal at the hands of the federal government. And this lawyer is here to talk about the implication of that open letter. This is coming at a time when we've seen, that the federal government is trying to change his charge from treasonable felony, like they said, to terrorism. And one keeps wondering, why terrorism? You've seen how terror guys in Nigeria are being funded. They are being funded to wage war against the Nigerian state. And at the end of the day, they will be granted pardon. They are said to be de-radicalized and be brought back into the society. And we've heard that some of them end up to become military men for the Nigerian state. While people like Nnamdi Kanu, whose crime is asking for agitation, secession as a result of marginalization of the Southeast, are being charged with terrorism. It's really so sad looking at the way the federal government is treating this case, honestly. So I'm going to allow you to take a look at how this lawyer has talked about the implications of that open letter. This is also coming at a time when we saw kidnappers kidnapping a Afenifere youth leader, and a video has been trending since yesterday where they were negotiating with the family members on how much to pay for ransom. They were being told to bring 100 million and also threatened that if they don't bring the 100 million quick, they are going to unalive their victim. They told the entire world in that short clip that they've given the man 2 bullets that he's still carrying in his body, that by the time they give him the 3rd one, his life will be ended. Leader, making the family to be thrown into turmoil. So guys, I'm just going to allow you to take a look at what this lawyer has got to say, and you yourself just think about what this country is becoming like. People who commit crime against the state, against the Nigerian government, are being granted pardon, brought back into the society, celebrated, and, even like as if they are being encouraged to go do more of their havoc. But people who are asking for agitation because they are from the Igbo tribe are being charged with terrorism. Anyway, I'm going to allow you just take a look at this video for yourself. Take a look.
You see, when you have 2 different laws for 2 different sets of people in one country in brackets, you find out that this is the kind of thing you expect to be happening. Because we can recall that in this platform of Abia TV, we have discussed the Attorney General's enter of Nole for the Nyeti Allah suspect that was being tried for terrorism and reasonable felony. We have also seen the discharge of the case of Igbo in the Southwest. Now ask yourself, what is so special about Nnamdi Kanu's own? Nnamdi Kanu, when he said the husband and the son of Justice Nyako is being tried for corruption somewhere, and that they gave him a condition that she should jail him so that the son and the husband could be set free. Some people began to dig whether it is true or not, and found that it is true. Now, that's by the way. The judge also recused herself following Nnamdi Kanu's protest last year. I think that was around between November or September or thereabouts. The judge said, okay, since you don't want me to try you, I will not try you. That is what you call recusing yourself. She recused herself. Now, the file was returned to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court for reassignment to any other judge, or even to himself. Nothing stops him assigning to himself. After all, they are all judges. The difference is that this one is the eldest. Otherwise, they are primus. He's just a mere primus inter pares among judges. He cannot even overrule a fellow judge because all of them have the same power. But administratively, somebody should be at administrative level. The Chief Judge of the Federal High Court is at the administrative level. So when the case file was returned to him, the rumor mill says that many judges rejected the file. That's the rumor mill. It wasn't in the judge's own hands. He didn't write it down, because if he had written that, we could have known a judge that would have been assigned a case and say we'll reject it. Now, even if all the judges reject it, why not take it on yourself? Since Nyako has recused herself, now you sent it back to Nyako. That is when Nnamdi began to smell a rat. Because what is so special about Nyako? Is she not just a judge like every other judge? Why must she be the one that the file will be going, you recuse yourself, you bring the file back to the same judge? No. What makes Nyako so special to try Nnamdi Kanu's matter? Now, Nnamdi has no other option rather than to write an open letter. So let Nigerians see how he is faring with his trial. Let Nigerians see it. Now, as a lawyer, at least any lawyer that is above 20 years post-court is no more a young lawyer, because some people call it a young barrister. I'm not a young barrister. Mm-hmm. So I think my take home from this very trial is that it is no more prosecution of a suspect, let me put it that way. It's no more prosecution of a suspect. It is now persecution of a suspect. Because why do I say it is persecution? Persecution is saying that, number one, you have an illegal act which you committed to bring Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. That is rendition. It is illegal, both under international law and our own law. But then it happened under Buhari. And Buhari, like all we know, is a man of rendition. He tried to rendition Umar Diko, where he was a military head of state. But the ego eye of British police, the American police, I think it was American police also, I think British, they caught him and then opened the crate. Lo and behold, it was Umar Diko that was created in a crate, about to be taken back to Nigeria, or a diplomatic bag. Because according to Buhari, he was indicted in a military tribunal that was set to try politicians who held sway in Nigeria between 1979 and 1998, when they had their coup. Now, they tried the same thing with Nnamdi Kanu. A plane flew into Kenya, got Nnamdi arrested. Whatever way they used to hypnotize and put him into a plane and bring him to Nigeria, only them knows. Even though Kenyan government says they are not even aware that the plane came to Nigeria, but that is also a falsity, because every plane that takes off from any airport in the world
has a destination.
Yes, there is known. Just like a ship. Any ship that takes off from any port in the world, there is a monitoring mechanism for ships, just like they are for planes. So telling us that they don't know that the plane came to Kenya and took Nnamdi Kanu is neither here nor there. But let us leave Kenya out of it. Let us look at the people that orchestrated the mass rendition to Nigeria. Now, having been rendition to Nigeria, the question is, what stops you, assuming you are renditioned illegally? And you can recall also that there are about 1 or 2 court orders or court judgments telling them to release Nnamdi Kanu. And in all these states, the federal government has never faulted. Either way, they will say they will draft a new charge. If court discharges you of a given charge for which you were arraigned in court, and you are still kept by the security agencies 1 minute after that order, It's a illegal detention. And if you sue for it, for false imprisonment, you could recover in damages. But this ones, nobody cares. They bring the man, they try him, they discharge him, they say they hold him, they bring another charge tomorrow. So these things are things why the man now has to take the laws into
his hands.
Yes, and then start to train himself.
But what will be the implications of this in judicial terms? Because I'm sure if it doesn't have a consequence, it should have. There must be an effect of this. Do you think, because you analyze now that it looks like no judge wants to accept the case. So is it more like saying that this is the dead end for the trial?
No, it is not. See, the implication is that the man has thrown himself into the court of public opinion. Let the world see what is happening with me. And you can jolly well know that this letter did not just stop in Nigeria. This letter has gone viral. It is almost all over the world. World leaders have seen the letter and they know. And you find out that you are measured as a national leader by your respect for human rights. If Tinubu as a president, if I am to advise him, but at the very first onset of his administration, if I were to be his legal advisor, what I could advise him is to order the release of all those people being tried on self-determination charges. Because ordinary law, under both international law and national laws of the states, it's not a crime. If somebody says, I want to live where I belong, even Nigerian constitution gives freedom of association. So if you say, I don't want to associate with Nigeria again, is it not part of freedom of association? Remember the Supreme Court has interpreted dissemination of information, knowledge and whatever in the constitution to mean that you are free to set up private universities. Because that's when initial universities were being set up here and there. Federal government started to clamp down on some of the private universities. They went to court. And the Supreme Court interpreted it to mean that dissemination of information and this for whatever reason also includes setting up university, because this university, you are getting new knowledge there and there are information being displayed there. And that also gave rise to the springing up of some of these private electronic and print media. Like we are here now. Ordinary before, it was the MTA that had the monopoly.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying in effect is that if the president has been advised rightly, I think what he could have done in the first instance, when he was releasing Igbo and the other Mietiala young man, he could have also said, Nnamdi Kanu, go home and see no more. If you want to carry out your demand for self-determination, follow international best practices. There are guidelines. Go to the United Nations. Seek two-thirds majority. Or find any of the Security Council henchmen, the ones that once they can veto anything, get just one. Let that one come and speak on your behalf, on the behalf of the country you are asking for, under the United Nations Charter. Then go and organize a referendum in your own area. Let us know how many people want to leave and how many people don't want to leave. So, but you also find out that people are saying that the rumor mills making the rounds is that the stakeholders in the southeastern part of Nigeria, in fact, the eastern region of Nigeria, doesn't also want Nnamdi Kanu released.
Yeah, that's a very disturbing thing to, I mean, it's moving around, but in what way would they be benefiting from his continuous detention?
Yes, let me tell you how they would be benefiting. You see, there are two groups of people that control the masses: the state actors and non-state actors. The state actors are the ones purportedly, in bracket, voted into power. They are the state actors. Non-state actors are like people like Nnamdi Kanu and the NGOs. They are the non-state actors. Now, you will find out that most of the time, if the non-state actors gives a directive, people obey it to the letter, including this sit at home that I refuse to go in the southeast. Even if the urban areas now don't observe sit at home, we go to the villages, they are all sitting at home on Mondays. No school opens. The teachers will tell you it is better I will be alive and my salary deducted than I'll be a dead person and nobody pays me anything. So you find out that who gave that instruction for sit at home every Monday? Not state actors. Now state actors have said, disobey it, come to work. I will deal with you if you don't come to work. Yet they are still being disobeyed. So there is likelihood that if Nnamdi Kanu is released, he will rupture the political setting for some of these state actors.
So could this be the reason why it is convenient for the federal government to keep him in detention?
Oh, see, the federal government, Tinubu as a president, doesn't drink beer with me in the streets of Zikebene. He doesn't chill with us in ShopRite, but he stays in Asorok. Whatever he needs is in Asorok. So he's fed. The information he's given, where he's sitting, is the information he's going to work with. If they tell him, no, if the man comes out, nobody is safe in the southeast, he will believe them because they are the people who get access to him. Me and you doesn't have access to Tinubu. But the state governors of the eastern region, beginning from Enugu to Bayelsa, they have access to the government, to the president. The ministers, including the former minister of, including the equipment minister of, what do you call it, Works, and the equipment minister of Federal Capital Territory. You know, these are people who doesn't want to hear about Nnamdi Kanu. Even when the minister of Works was the governor of Igbos State, he will always tell you Igbos is not part of Biafra. So if these people are there, surrounding the president, usually we know that the president will always listen to them, thinking that they have the voice of the people, not knowing that they don't.
So one would deduct from the letter Nnamdi Kanu is writing for public opinion to help him, or maybe the whole discussion will now sway the hand of justice. Is that what it is?
No, well, I think, first of all, it is the public opinion to assist. The hand of justice has a procedure. The open letter is not filed in court. So court has no need. Court cannot make use of something that is not before it.
Well, obviously, he didn't intend that to be in the court. I think there is an adage around here about that, about an animal crying not to be saved, but for the whole to hear him.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, what outcome do you think Nnamdi Kanu is expecting with what he did at the court last week and the letter he also wrote on the 14th of February?
What he is expecting is political solution to his problem.
So has he said that? Is he plainly asking for that?
No. You see, one thing is that, remember, Nnamdi Kanu most of the time has said, if I have accepted to have an oil well, I could have since been released. If I have accepted to abandon the Biafran struggle, I could since have been released. If I had accepted to be the vice president, leader of the presidential candidate, I could since have been released. But these things does not inure to the comfort of my people. And that is why I rejected it. So when you follow most of the things the young man say, you find out that they want that kind of... Remember, Wazirike was incarcerated. Did you remember? Somewhere along the line, Wazirike, cottoed. And that gave rise to the rise of Nnamdi Kanu. Now, Nnamdi Kanu now was rendition. That gave rise to Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa was detained in Finland. That gave rise to Mrs. Orabueze. Orabueze now also finding some. If you follow this Biafran trend, you find out how the scenario works. Most of this is on social media. You read them up. Now, what I'm saying in effect is that keeping Nnamdi Kanu ad infinitum in detention does not even help anybody. Rather, to be painting the federal government as a government that does not respect human rights. Remember, they also clamped down on Showere. Showere is also not, it's already not claiming for, talking about self-determination. He's talking about a new Nigeria, just like P2B. But he's talking his own in an activist way. So that was why he was arrested and trying to say this is wrong. The IG's continue staying in office is illegal and so on. So they clamped on him, charged him for one offense or the other. And the gave condition, he said not going to fulfill the condition because the condition has been outlawed by the Court of Appeal, telling people to bring civil servants. Now, Showere, I think he's not in detention for now. Dele Farorintimi has also raised his voice, crying for this kind of torture and abuse of human rights. And he was also detained briefly. And in detention, now sold the sale of his books. So the same way, this is Nnamdi Kanu's detention. The federal government is indirectly making Nnamdi Kanu an eternal hero of the Biafran struggle. That is how I see it. Because if you keep on detaining the young man, what you are telling the world is that he is the arrowhead of a group of people who want to leave Nigeria. And the world now know that he exists. But if you have played the kind of Obasanjo, I don't know what's the guest time, people could have forgotten about it and the kind of by now. So they are indirectly popularizing the man by keeping him perpetually in detention. So whoever don't know about him can now know about him. But if they have brought him from Kenya, maybe try him for 2-3 weeks, 1 month, and then give judgment that, like giving the judgment that he has committed no offense and let him go. But whatever he's doing, provided he does it within the ambits of the law. By now, some people could have said, who is Nnamdi Kanu, by the way. So, but for the fact that they kept keeping the young man in detention, they are swearing his popularity. They don't know indirectly. Because if I was talking about the Obasanjo syndrome, to Wazuke called for sit-at-home when Obasanjo was in power. And foreign press cornered Obasanjo and was asking Obasanjo, we thought this issue of Biafra had been arrested. One young man has arisen again and said, let people sit at home, and everyone sat at home. Even that day, Tinubu, that day, Tinubu was still the governor of Lagos State. He was forced to appear on national television begging the Igbos to come and open their shops, even if by 4 p.m. when Wazuke called for sit at home. Now, Obasanjo was cornered by the foreign press. He told them he doesn't know about the sit at home. That what he knows is that the Igbos were celebrating their New Year festival. So people laughed over it. And when Wazuke called for a second sit at home, nobody obeyed him because he was never detained. Obasanjo just ignored him. So do you see how Obasanjo now kicked the man? Now Buhari is usually crude way, felt that detention is always the best option for everything. It doesn't work like that.
All right. We will take a quick break. When we return, I'll find out exactly where there seem to be cold shoulders from the Southeast political elite. Is it a problem or a solution? Stay with us. Back to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV, the program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. My name is Alex Abodo, and we're reaching you live from Enugu, Southeast Nigeria. So I still have other barrister Nadume of Fokansi here with me. So a lot of people are alleging that there is a conspiracy of silence in the Southeast regarding the detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What we've seen, they are analyzing that a governor will go to the president and come out and say, I asked the president for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So, but we haven't seen them as a front asking for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Do you think that that allegation is founded?
Yes, I think it's founded because if you say something is sweet, you say what it tastes like. There is an adage in Ogrog, my village, that says, if you say that the head of Wobochi is light, go and carry it. So The whole virtue of a person has a very big head naturally. So if you feel that you are working to releasing Nnamdi Kanu, what stops you when you are talking to the president, having it on tape?
Well, that's just a problem with that. Normally when you talk with presidents, it's not on TV, except it's something that is meant to be televised. Okay. And this is not me speaking for the presidential villa, but it's standard practice. You will come out and tell the people what you discussed, or what was agreed that was discussed.
That's all right. If you come out to tell us what was agreed or what was discussed, there is a presidential spokesman, all right? And if you have had a meeting, a robust meeting with the president, you come out, there are some officials of the Rock, that definitely will come with you to address the press. Not that we don't believe the Southeast leaders, but because over time, they have shown us that they will say one thing and do another, especially where the welfare of our people is concerned. But the catalog of the hanky-panky statements are legion. I don't want, if I start here now, I cannot even leave this program today. But what I'm saying is that if you are working for your people, I don't believe any non-state actor can turn the table against you if you're actually working for your people. Why do I say that? If, for instance, Nnamdi Kanu comes out and tells people that Alex Oti is not doing well in Abia State, you are namesake Alex Oti in Abia State, is not doing well, people will not agree with him. We may have some enemies. If he comes out tomorrow and says, no, everything, all the physical structures we are seeing in Enugu being erected by Peter Mba, they are not real, people will eventually rise and contradict him and say, no, you are not right. But if he comes to tell us that Hope Uzodimma, for instance, he's not taking the security of Imo State very serious, no people will believe him. This is where I'm going. If the people in the Southeast are nonchalant and that they have not come as a united force, excuse me, to say we want this young man released. See, there are a lot of people who committed some heinous, felonious offenses that have been given parole by the president, especially when Buhari was there. Excuse me. You see Boko Haram repentant suspects. They say they will retrain them and then dump them into the army. Boko Haram, people you know were out to destroy and harm and kill people. But what is the offense of Nnamdi Kanu? Let us even say. What is his offense? People will now say, did this man go for kidnapping? The answer is no. Did he murder anybody? The answer is no. Did he rape anybody's wife? The answer is no. Did he go for armed robbery? The answer is no. What then is his offense? He says, we are being marginalized. My people are being marginalized. Since you don't want us in this confederation called Nigeria, we want to have our own nation. And I will go about this thing by referendum. I want people to vote whether they want to still stay in Nigeria or not. This thing the man is saying is allowed under international law. Like I said, it's also allowed even under our Nigerian constitution. So what is so special about what he's clamoring for? From what Igbo was clamoring for in the Southwest, or what some of the people in the North are clamoring for. Remember, if you take ourselves down memory lane, during 1960, in fact 1958, 1959, when Nigeria could have gotten independence with Ghana, the North said we are not ready. Give the South independence if they want independence, but we are not ready for independence. Let's still be managed by the colonial masters. But Zig said we should wait for them. And we waited for 2 years. Otherwise, we could have gotten independence with Ghana in 1958. So we waited for them till 1960. Even at 1960, they were not still ready. The North was not still ready. Until 1963, when we now became a republic, when they now reluctantly joined Nigeria, reluctantly. Now, when the issue of the coup of 1966 happened, the same North said, Araba, let's go. We don't want to be here. Now, nobody persecuted anybody in the North for saying Araba. It was still the same West that was telling Gowon, don't allow this to happen. Because the greater part of the resources you will build this country is down south. Now Gowon said, we are going to be one Nigeria. We fought a bloody 30 months war and still came back with no victor, no vanquished, which is just no victor, no vanquished in paper. We know who was vanquished. We know who was the victor. Now, why I took you down memory lane is because this thing did not just start with Nnamdi Kanu. So in 1999, when the new dispensation came on board, Wazirike arose, just like the Bible said, that a new, in the days of the census, a man called Theodosius arose and pretended to show himself as somebody powerful. Israelites killed him, like they killed others, and nobody followed the man. But this man called Jesus Christ, when he arose, you did to him what you did to the other ones. But those people who have been following him refused to go back. That was Gamaliel's judgment. That these people refuse to go back. And so leave these people who are following this man called Jesus. Because if you keep on opposing the followers, you might even end up opposing God. That's the way I see this, Because there were 3 people who came in Israel before this man. Once you kill the person, nobody follows him again. But immediately you kill this man, people keep on following him. So, Nnamdi Kanu has even said, with his death, it is even better for him. Because what he is clamoring for will come faster. So what is the point of keeping him? I still want the federal government to play the olive branch and use the political solution to solve this problem. Because they are going to end up in a quagmire.
That's right. But based on everything you've seen,
yes,
do you actually envisage that situation?
I do.
So in what way do you think it will unravel? Because sometime last year, I think you were on this program.
Yes.
And we were seeing signs that could be suggesting that the federal government was just about to release Nnamdi Kanu. That didn't happen. And one would be wondering what went wrong if there were moves before for him to be released.
What went wrong was the same rumor mill we have been hearing, unconfirmed, unauthoritative, that the Southeast leaders are frustrating and truncating the mass release. Nobody has officially told us this is the position. But what I'm saying is that his continued detention is attracting international attention, which ordinarily could not have attracted if they have just tried a man with them they brought him from Kenya and abided by the judgment of the Court of Appeal that says he should be released at the first time, before they now brought this other charge now, with which they are still arraigning him before Nyako. So, with this international attention, the world is one global village now. And being a global village, your president will travel. Wherever he goes, the foreign press will follow him. And they'll ask him about Nnamdi Kanu. He must have to say something about it. Wherever he goes now, any foreign press that is allowed to, unless they edit part of Nnamdi Kanu and bring other questions, once you appear before, because the foreign press is not like the Nigerian press, where they will tell you, give us your question before you ask the president. No, this one, they will ask him direct. And if he has no answer for it, they will be recorded against him on human rights abuses. He will go to another country, the same thing will arise again. And by the time they ask him 1-2 places in foreign countries, there's a...
So guys, you have seen what we are saying in this video. This tells you about what Nigeria is up to today. So many things are going wrong and nobody is talking about it. I mean, so many things are really going wrong in this country. And one keeps asking, how did we get here? How did we get here? You see, it's now becoming a norm. When somebody is kidnapped, it looks like we are not hearing it for the first time. You don't even know psychologically what these people go through at the hands of their abductors. They go through a lot, and most times their lives are gone. And then we see things like this, and the government is not using anybody as a deterrent. I mean, the Nigerian government is not using anybody to tell these guys that, see, enough is enough. No, we don't see that. Instead, if you are a genuine person, just asking for things to be done rightly in this country, you become an automatic enemy to the state. That is what we see. You become an automatic enemy to the state. So I think we are getting to that point where people have to speak up, call a spade, tell yourself that things should be done in a better way. At least to carry everybody along. You can imagine Nnamdi Kanu asking for secession, and today he's being charged with terrorism. You can imagine Nnamdi Kanu saying that, he wants the Igbos to be on their own. And then there is like a crime against humanity, a crime against the Nigerian state. While this is constitutional, this is a normal thing that anybody can do and get away with it. But when it comes from an Igbo man, guess what? It becomes another thing altogether. And that is what we are seeing. And that's why we all must stand up and say no to all this. Okay, now Tinubu is in government. He cannot speak up because he's waiting for second term. He cannot speak up. See, the Fulani headsmen have returned to Benue State, causing havoc. Nobody can go for them because somebody is thinking about his second term. If he goes after them, the North won't vote for him. Can you imagine? And then you now check out. Last time we saw that the Kaduna government was granting bandits pardon and saying they are going to undergo rehabilitation. And then, not quite long, we now saw that they attacked a church by the pastor's son, took the wife captive, asking for 30 million naira to be paid in the north. And this family does not even have the money. And then, not until we now saw a Afenifere leader, being held captive. And they're asking for 100 million, saying that if you don't bring it, we will unalive him. So that tells you a lot. This country is a joke. All these things are there on the social media. The entire world is watching Nigeria, seeing what is happening in Nigeria. And our leaders don't care. They don't care. They are there in the House of Assembly fighting for politics, political, if you are not in the ruling party, you are mistreated in the Senate floor. They are just thinking about their own political gain, not the gain of the people, not the gain of the country. So I think we've got to do better if we really want to see this country move forward. It's high time we call a spade a spade. People should come out, work for this country patriotically. Don't just do it as if you are, as if you just wake up from sleep and saw yourself in that position. You were the one that presented yourself that you can handle this position. Now you've been given the privilege. Why not just do it and gain more respect from the Nigerian people? Do you know anybody that comes up now, becomes the president or even the Senate president and does a good job? Guess what? Nigerians will remember you forever. Nigerians will remember you forever. But it appears everybody is just following this. So guys, you have seen what we are saying in this video. This tells you about what Nigeria is up to today. So many things are going wrong and nobody is talking about it. So many things are really going wrong in this country. And one keeps asking, how did we get here? How did we get here? You see, it's now becoming a norm. When somebody is kidnapped, it looks like we are not hearing it for the first time. You don't even know psychologically what these people go through at the hands of their abductors. They go through a lot, and most times their lives are gone. And then we see things like this, and the government is not using anybody as a deterrent. The Nigerian government is not using anybody to tell these guys that, see, enough is enough. No, we don't see that. Instead, if you are a genuine person, just asking for things to be done rightly in this country, you become an automatic enemy to the state. That is what we see. You become an automatic enemy to the state. So I think we are getting to that point where people have to speak up, call a spade, tell yourself that things should be done in a better way. At least to carry everybody